Now, the GS1100E is of the series of bikes that was truly the last of the air-cooled super bikes Suzuki made. The bikes that followed this had a combination of oil and air cooling, and then of course went on to total liquid cooling. But these bikes, all of the air-cooled bikes, even of this era and before, you can see the engine. The engine is part of what makes the bike a beautiful thing. And in my case, I really think it's one of the most beautiful bikes ever. And today the weatherman's predicting temperatures not going much above 50, but it's certainly a rideable day. And this time of year, all the time, I never want to miss a riding day, especially this time of year. Now, what makes the GS to me a very special bike, of course, is that I'm a one owner. I bought it in '82. And I've had it since then, and I've tried to maintain it to the best of my ability. I even bought a spare parts bike, and I have spare wheels and a spare engine and whatnot. But that's not what makes it real special to me. What's beautiful about this is the appearance of the bike. I love the air-cooled engine. I love the look of the bike. And modern sport bikes, yeah, they have a beauty all their own, but this is classic beauty. This is like Sophia Loren beauty. That it's ageless, it's timeless, and once you have one of these bikes, I feel obligated to maintain it and keep it as good as I can right to the very end, because to me it's a very special part of my life. And I've said this a lot of times, there's not many things I've had over my course of my lifetime that I have 40 years later. I still have them. A lot of stuff was good, but it didn't stand the test of time. Now, this time of year, as you look out the windows of our house, it's a beautiful day. The leaves are still changing. That always adds a nice little dimension to the day. The flowers are blooming. I still have to water the garden every day. And thank you, Nanda Navola, getting us started with these zinnias. We've got 1,000 zinnias on the property, and it's really a lot of fun. All right, who wants to go out riding a GS today? Come on, guys. It's a nice day. A little chilly, but let's go. Oh, they're always hungry in the winter. Oh, and fighting. Oh my God. Raw ingredients right from the garden. What are we making, baby? Salsa?
Pico de gallo.
Pico de gallo. Okay. Oh my God, look at those peppers. This might be the last batch, too.
We have none of our own peppers. Only some,
no more peppers, huh?
Only some jalapenos.
The only thing we didn't get out of our garden this summer in quantity was the bell peppers.
The peppers didn't do so well.
Oh.
Yeah, the jalapenos did well.
Oh, look at these little jalapenos. I feel like such a farmer.
This one turned to be a chipotle.
So that's what the end of this project is, a Pico de Gallo. Really good. It even smells good.
Did you call it pinko?
Pinko.
Pico.
Pico. I gotta learn to speak English. Now, I always think the air-cooled bikes, because you can see the engine and because you can see the finning and you can polish them, it just adds something special to the look of the motorcycle. And to me, the looks are very, very important. And if you've ever taken one of these air-cooled bikes apart, the first thing you notice is when you take the head off the engine, the head weighs as much as the rest of the engine sometimes. And that's the technology at a time when they didn't have radiators. Now along the way, and I pass this from time to time, this gentleman has some unique piece of property and it's worth checking out. He decorates for Halloween, of course. He's got a truck in the back, I think it's an army truck, but I'm not sure, with a waterfall coming out the back of it. He's got miniature ponies, full-size horses. I see chickens and ducks and geese and barnyard animals, and I think it's a pretty cool thing. And maybe you can even see it here. There's the truck with the waterfall coming out the back. How cool is that? Look at some of the other stuff he's got on there. Nicely landscaped, kind of a, it's a unique piece of property. I don't know what else to say. And every time I stop there, it looks a little bit different. Now I know for some people they would gladly sacrifice the beauty of a motorcycle if it would go a little faster or brake a little harder or in some way do something. But to me, right up at the top of the list, the motorcycle's got to be beautiful. And in my own personal case, it's got to be clean. I can't ride around on a rust bucket. And it's no different than a lot of things in life. Beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. And if you know what you like and you can get it, so much better. Now, this bike really, to me, is something special. The designer should get full credit. Now, one downside of an air-cooled engine with a lot of finning, the finning tends to act as little tuning forks at certain RPMs and usually right off idle or at fast idle, and it tends to make a little bit of a rattly noise that, well, they put rubber blocks between the fins, but water cooling kind of mutes that. Now, the other thing, if you make a bike like this, you decide on liquid cooling and you want a little more horsepower maybe, you've got to have the radiator. And that radiator blocks out the whole front of the engine, the exhaust pipes, and I don't know about that. I don't know. This bike is plenty fast to entertain me. Another advantage of an air-cooled bike, when you go to work on it, you don't have to drain the antifreeze and drain everything and get all the hoses and hose clamps and radiators and all the stuff right off, and usually too, the plugs are right out in the open. Another advantage. But pretty much like everything in life, everything is a trade-off. The liquid cooling, the air cooling, being able to work on a bike yourself conveniently, and the cost, but the biggest one for me is still the looks of the bike. The classic good looks. And one of the only problems in this area, there's a lot of blind turns. There's a lot of places where you've got to be on full alert for something that you didn't expect around the corner. And to me, all motorcycles seem to like to ride. They seem like they always have a little more power when it's cool out. But this bike in particular seems to like the cool weather. And the colder it gets, it always seems to have a couple more horsepower. And I have had several exhaust systems on the bike. I have two stock ones, one carbon fiber set of exhaust mufflers that I made, and this 86 system that I got from the late Frank Straub. And when Joe Padula and I rode the two GSs together, you could tell right away his has the totally stock mufflers. It's a little bit quieter. This one, the 86 exhaust, just a little more rumble when you back off the gas. And that's a thing that over the years I've become very conscious of and very critical of, is when a bike, my FZR for instance, is so loud I hate to ride it in populated areas. And other bikes that I've quieted down, like my R1, I feel comfortable riding up where there's populated areas and people walking dogs and baby carriages. And this bike has a really nice balance. And I look back over the 40 years of owning this bike, how many nice rides, especially how many nice fall rides, like today where it was nice and cool but yet not super cold. How many of those 77,000 miles were just like today? When I take into account what I think is the good looks of the bike, how reliable it's been over 77,000 miles, the fact it gets 45 miles a gallon, the fact that it's got a 200-mile range, and just among other things, the fact that I've had it since the day it's new, it's a good friend. Now, another thing I personally like about this bike, when you go to put it from neutral into first gear, it doesn't have what a lot of bikes have, that big giant clunk. It has a really smooth, butter smooth transmission. And I don't know what could be better, a GS on these back roads with beautiful leaves, just beautiful. Now this set of bodywork is the original bodywork that came with the bike. Most of the paint, I think the fender is the only thing I've had to repaint, but absolutely quality paintwork. And after a beautiful day, the saddle at the end of the day is just as comfortable as in the beginning of the day. That has always been rated as one of the top seats of all time on motorcycles, and especially of bikes of this era. Along with the RD was rated as having a really good seat too, but this one is exceptional. But even after a long day riding like today, it's time to get back to the farm, get back to seeing what's going on by the house, and you never know. That's the problem. You never know what you're coming home to. Just another beautiful fall day, another beautiful ride on the GS. It seems like it just gets better with age. Not exactly like me. I wish I got better with age. Anyway, these rides in the fall are just very special. It's starting to get cooler and cooler. I like it when it's cool, and sooner or later it's going to snow and they'll salt the roads. But right now we're going to try to ride every day we can while it's beautiful like this, and hope you enjoy sharing this little piece of our life. So as the day ends, all is well at the farm. The giraffe is fed, the fish are fed, the Pico de Mayo was delicious. Everything is working the way it should in a fall. I've got to clean up the garden a little bit. And then we're starting to think about our restoration projects for this winter and things we want to do to our bikes. Every one of them, we got tires to mount, we got paint touch-ups to do on some. There's just an endless supply. Having a small bike collection means you're always going to be busy. And if you're doing favors for your friends, you're going to be really busy. And you never know where the road leads with motorcycling. It's always fun. You're always making new friends. And everybody's got adventures, stories to share. There's always maintenance to do. There's never an end to the maintenance. That's another thing. And the oil changes, and the tires, and the flowers that need to be picked for Karen, and all of the things that make this such a great sport. And I hope you did enjoy the video, and thanks so much for watching.